Monday Night Raw 9/1/2025. The Amplified Review. Post Clash in Paris. I, of course, your host, B motherfucking C, the Amplified Man. And before we kick off this review, a big shout out and salute to two longtime supporters to the channel, Will Smith and Sam Byers. Appreciate the support to the channel via that super thanks over the weekend and the past couple uploads. Thank you. Stay amped up, boys. Now on to this review. Again, post-Clash, a lot happened in this event yesterday in France. So how does WWE navigate the waters as we are now 3 weeks away from the Palooza of wrestling? They had CM Punk kick us off, waiting in the parking lot. Pierce intervenes, tries to get Punk to come with him. If you're gonna wait, you can wait in the office with me. Punk says no. There's only one way in and out of this place. I'm good right here. As he waits for Sethington Rollins, Pierce says, have it your way. I love this. Simplistic. It's what I have been saying for years on this channel. Professional wrestling, whether you want to hear this or not, is still entertainment and it's still a show. As much as you may want to believe it's just an athletic competition, athletic contest, it's just a sporting event, and we're going to find out who's the best, who's the winner, who's the loser. No, it's a television show. It doesn't matter if you're watching Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, TNA on a Thursday evening. Doesn't matter, it is a television show. And a television show, especially professional wrestling, needs the storylines. It needs story arcs. It needs plot twists and cliffhangers. And one simplistic thing you can do is a theme from the jump. And you thread it throughout the show. And I always say one of the simplistic threads you can do is just having professional wrestler A waiting for his nemesis, professional wrestler B, to come to the arena. You just have professional wrestler A in the parking lot. And you can keep going back to that situation throughout the show. And at the end of the show, you have your big grand finale. And if you do it correctly, it's a cliffhanger to the next week. It's a thread. It's an actual story arc. And it's simplistic. You don't got to overthink the situation. You ain't got to move mountains. It's not rocket science. You're just having one of your wrestlers wait in the parking lot. I love this. It's simplistic. Punk has a beef. It's on site. I'll wait right here for Rollins. Love it. It's exactly what we need more of. Now, the actual show inside that arena kicked off with Jason Yeaterman. 20,000 Frenchians, Frenchtonians, French people screaming, it's just me, Uzi, down from day one. Just me, Uzi? Yeah, I'm down from day one. But it's a lot more funny when it's 20,000 Frenchtonians. Thankfully, Yeaterman was selling his Clash beating, so he says, and I quote, we're not running it back tonight, France. BC was about to throw a party. Wahoo! I was about to yeet for a minute because that's music to my ears. Less yeeting is a victory for mankind. No, not that mankind. I mean for all of humanity. Now, LA Knight was out next, enters the ring. He has a little bit of a back and forth with Jason Yeaterman. He is fully amplified, by the way. LA Knight says he's tired of the BS, tired of being overlooked, tired of being not champion. So it was a fired up LA Knight. More of that, please. That was actually really good. Then the Bronze are out next, top of the ramp. They don't go any further. Bronson tells Paris to acknowledge their tribal chief. No. He says, acknowledge your tribal thief. They say they had put the tribal chief in the Haas. In fact, there's word he might be in the next room next to Paulito Heyman. But now you got to acknowledge the tribal thief. Although thief of what, right? He no longer has the shoes. He's no longer the Shulafala. I was actually digging that gimmick. So now again, maybe you take Yetterman's Yeezys, right? Because that would be next. Now all this leads to is Bronson and Breakker laying down a tag team main event challenge to LA and Yeeters. Of course, the faces accept. This was a weak, lazy, ineffective start. Ineffective being the key word. All the momentum that Breakker and Bronson had coming off of the Clash and the beatdown and destruction of Roman Reigns. And here they are, 24 hours later, talking a big game at the top of the ramp. And all they want is a match later in the night. And why this is more weak and nonsensical and ineffective is because right before Bronson Reed took that stick, took the microphone, and said, acknowledge your tribal thief, Braun Breakker had the microphone. And Breakker just said because Paul Heyman's in the house, because he's laid up and not there in the arena, he said we're basically two dogs off the leash. Paul's not there to hold us back. We can do what we want, how we want tonight. So when he says that, and you're supposed to be badasses, unpredictable badasses, we're told, well, then you would just go to the ring. You said it yourself, right? Jey Uso and LA Knight are banged up from their Fatal 4 at Clash in Paris. So you say they're banged up. You say Paul's not there to hold you back. You're two dogs off the leash. You're wild and you're free. So go to the ring and destroy them. But instead, they just set up a match for later in the night. So how wild are you? How unpredictable are you if you're just standing at the top of the ramp setting up a match for later? That's not too predictable. So, yeah, ineffective. I just feel like for the first time, Braun Breakker and Bronson Reed actually looked viable. They looked formidable. They looked actually badass at Clash in Paris. And then I look at them talking this game at the top of the ramp, and it's right back to seeing two dudes that have a long way to go. I feel there was a giant step forward at Clash in Paris, and I feel we took a giant step backward in this opening segment. Now, could this all be salvaged later on in the night when they have their main event tag match? We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But the first match of the night, this would be the Warriors that are Kabuki, Asuka, and Kari, defeating the Day of Judgment, Roxy and Raquel. Helmsley had Roxanne Perez tap out to Asuka's lock. There was zero reason to have Roxy tap out in a nonsensical tag match middle of a Monday Night Raw. The pop was a 6 at best. Perez needs to be established as legit, not positioned as a jabroni. And if you want Roxy to tap out to Asuka, cool, I got no problem with that. It's Asuka. But just make it meaningful. That should be a culminating moment of an actual storyline wrapped up in a one-on-one match. This is why we don't have actual superstars anymore. Certainly not larger than life. Because in years past, we'd have what was known as jobber matches, where actual superstars would beat on, defeat, and even destroy nobody jabronis. But in today's pro wrestling, every match is star versus star. And they're just trading wins and losses. It's called 50-50 booking. Thus, nobody can truly get, quote, over or even established. And that's what I thought of when I saw Roxanne Perez, Roxy, tapping out to Asuka in a meaningless tag match. Subconsciously, we're taking inventory of that. And Roxy gets docked. So now what WWE is doing is they're just digging the hole even deeper when they actually want to give Roxanne Perez a decent push. Don't make it harder on yourselves. You want Roxy to tap out to Asuka, cool. Have it in a storyline, the culmination, a one-on-one. What a match. Whoa! Roxanne tapped out to Asuka. That's a big moment. Except it wasn't a big moment. It was in the middle of Raw in a tag match. Now, next up, Pierce delivers some big news. Adam Pierce announces that Io will take on Steph V at the Palooza of Wrestling for the vacant Women's Championship that was currently dropped by Naomi. So we were wondering, would it be Bianca Belair? Would it be Io? Would it be a call-up of some sort? But it is going to be Io versus Steph. I'm glad they're not doing a tournament. Some stupid battle royal, a bunch of triple threats and fatal four-ways. We see enough of it. You decide who are the contenders and then develop a story from that. What I don't like is they just put two baby faces in there. So nothing really gets accomplished here. You're going to split your audience. People love Io. People love Steph V. So show up at the Palooza of Wrestling and have your audience split. So no matter who hoists up the gold, you know half the audience was going to go for the other one. They'll still probably cheer. They're paying so much money and they just want to participate anyway. So the whole match, they can cheer for Io, and if Steph V wins, they'll still go out of their minds, lose their shit, and jump up and down and start shouting, "This was awesome." But it's just nonsensical. Why would, and that's the word for WWE, really, right? In a nutshell, it's nonsensical. All of these maneuvers, all of these decisions never make sense. But Io and Steph is the best they came up with. Hey, again, at least it's not Rhea Ripley, right? Rhea Ripley seems to always be somewhere in this title picture, whether holding the title or right there going for it. Now, it's only a Band-Aid because eventually Rhea will end up with that title. Just like on the other side of things, Charlie Flair will end up with their singles title. It's going to happen. That's what they want. Charlie and Rhea to be at the top of these divisions. But they know fans will revolt if you try to chuck a title right now on Charlie and even Rhea. You saw that at WrestleMania, man. Io is more over right now. Steph V is on her way to being more over than Rhea Ripley. But Rhea does have a base. It's just even her own base knows, hold on, man, maybe throwing her in every title situation is not best for business. Maybe it's not going to benefit her a long time, and maybe it's only a matter of time before it's Rhea Hogan and they stop saying Becky Hogan. Punk is still waiting in the parking lot for Rollins' arrival. I love this. This is what I said. Start off the show with it and then keep going back. I don't think they went back enough in this show. They only went back a couple of times. After basically every match or every segment, I'd be going right back to Punk in that lot. Then we had Dolphin Balor. Dolphin Balor. Get it? Come on, it's football season. If there's any Dolphin. BC's a Green Bay Packer fan. And owner, thank you. That's right. Most fans of the Green Bay Packers, we own the team. That's right. But Dolphin Balor versus How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z. Lee. Nothing to talk about here. Two wrestlers had a wrestling match. Did nothing, leads to nothing. It did, however, remind BC that Balor and Mickey D's are the tag champions. Because I truly didn't know. I forgot. Or just didn't care. I never know who these champions are. They pass them around like nothing. And there's never any care put into the title situation, the champions, how they change hands. So literally, after the match, when they're holding up Balor's hand and he's got a title in his hand, I'm like, oh yeah, they're tag title holders. All right. Then we went into a six-man tag. Grayson Watson. Big G is what they're calling Waller. Big G. Big Jim. Big G. Big John Studd. Big Van Vader. Big Minion. Viscera. Big Daddy Cool Diesel. I'm sure there's a lot of other ones. Jim Uso is not, he's mid Jim, he's medium Jim, and now it's Big G. Grayson Waller is big now. What? And he desperately wants to hang around with the New Day as his new gimmick. This is just so odd. Anyway, Grayson Waller, Watson, Big G teams up with the Day That Is New versus the Viking Experience and Penta. Again, with this match, just like the last, nothing to talk about. 6 wrestlers wrestled. Did nothing, leads to nothing. If anyone cares, Penta got the pin over Xavier Woods. With the storybook career that the New Day has had, it's always great to see the New Day taking meaningless six-man tag pins in the middle of Raw. That's if you're Hunter or Helmsley, that's the best way to book them. Oh, how far they have fallen. And they can still go. They show up every event they're told to. They're ready to rock. Just give them some good booking. And Helmsley's like, we put the titles on you recently. Right earlier in the year, they had the titles. I think they got them from the Viking Experience, right? The Raiders of War, who got it from the Judgment Day. And then the New Day just handed them over to another heel team. If you wonder why the New Day, nobody cares, look what they did. They gave them the tag titles and told them to sit at catering for 2 months. Then they dropped the titles to another heel team. They got out-heeled. Does anybody care about this bullshit booking? Anybody? No. We're just going to watch like trained seals. Clap like trained seals. Chant like trained seals. This is awesome! And then when BC cuts an honest review, people are like, what the hell? Huh? He's negative, huh? Oh, basically, let's enjoy pro wrestling, basically. Cool! Where can I enjoy it? Hard to find it in WWE, but I'm trying. And by the way, I don't want to just enjoy, I should be captivated by wrestling. I can enjoy an ice cream sundae, a banana split. I can enjoy riding Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. Want to be captivated by pro wrestling. What is captivating me watching a six-man tag with a bunch of jabronis? Because that's how everybody's booked. The Viking Experience, when's the last time they were relevant? And don't even say when they had tag titles earlier in the year. They weren't even relevant then. In fact, you're even more irrelevant with the titles in this company. Moving on, AJ Styles versus the dirtiest of all the Dominics. Dom Mysterio for the IC title. France was doing some wild song and dance for Styles for like 5 minutes, like an entire minute. Then they went to commercial for like 3 minutes, came back. They didn't shut the fuck up the entire time. Now, I don't speak Frenchtonian, so it was just awkward noise to me, and the dance was nothing short of retarded. But hey, I'll take that over yeeting any day. And I mean that tenfold. So this matchup, good match, obviously. And anywhere outside the U.S. especially, they really adore AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio. So this was going to have the fans, obviously, in a frenzy. There was a moment in this match late where AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash and actually pins Dominic Mysterio, sort of, right? The very last second, Mysterio's able to get his foot on the ropes, and the ref actually saw it, man. But that crowd, they really thought Styles had pulled it off. Moments later, an Americano Vanilla Macchiato Grande Latte would interfere and headbutt AJ Styles. Some silver plate in that mask. Styles is knocked out. Mysterio goes to the top and delivers a frog splash. 1, 2, 3 was subsequent. Mysterio holds on to his championship. This is one of those matchups that's going to be a little controversial because a lot of people feel, especially with that crowd reaction to Styles, that France was the place to pass that title along over to Styles. Some would say maybe long overdue. I'm not in that camp at all, man. I think this is absolutely the right decision. Listen, championships need to matter, man, and champions need to be champions. And whether you like Dominic Mysterio or not, or you like AJ Styles more, I hear you. But not every title all the time can just pass or change hands on these shows, on Raws and SmackDowns and nonstop. It can't happen, man. It just can't. We just had a champ. What was it? Friday, right? Who the heck? Who? Samuel Zayn. Everyone's favorite Home Depot employee just got Associate of the Month, by the way. Congratulations to Samuel Zayn. And then hours after he found that out, he goes to his night job and he wins the U.S. title from Solo Sikoa. That just happened on Friday. Now your other mid-card men's title is going to switch hands too on the other show, Raw? Does anything want to happen at the pay-per-views, the premium lives? Are they premium? Does anybody want to make a title prestigious and relevant? Or because everybody is dancing and singing and chanting, we're supposed to hand titles over? I like AJ Styles too. He's long overdue for something. I say a storyline before you hand him a championship. Make us care about AJ Styles more than just chants and music, but care about what he's doing. Care about the mission that he's on, the story that he's in. That's the problem with Styles. Everybody likes AJ, well, most anyway. I'm sure maybe some people don't like him. But most people like AJ Styles. It's about caring about what he's doing. So Dominic Mysterio keeps his championship. Everybody can cry about it all they want, but it's the right decision, man. The other mid-card title just changed hands on Friday night. Relax. Let everybody kind of digest that and comprehend that. Then we went backstage, CM Punk, and Pierce informs Punk that Seth Rollins has made it into the building. Now, earlier, Punk literally said that was the only way in and out of the arena. So how is Seth getting in? Is he flying through the roof like Batman? Did he come up through a pipe in the boiler room? Is he Mario or Luigi? Now, Punk would come to the ring. He says he's hijacking the show until Rollins comes out, even if he has to sing along with France all night. Rollins' music hits, but it's Becky Lynch that comes out down that aisle, gets in the ring, stands face to face with CM Punk, and cuts an impassioned, amplified promo on Punk. And everything BC has been saying about Becky Lynch the past couple 2-3 months was on full display in this segment. Because even though we just saw AJ Styles in the match previous, it was this performance by Becky Lynch that was absolutely phenomenal. Becky taking verbal flight off on CM Punk about how Punk ruined pro wrestling, more specifically WWE, by coming back, ruined all of the work that was laid down by Becky Lynch and her husband Seth Rollins. Everything they were trying to create, but it was Punk that was always being chanted. His name always overshadowed when they were doing the work. And the disdain in Becky's voice, the realism, the believability in it. And they were chanting AJ Lee from the jump. Becky shot it down beautifully. Says just like typical France. She says, always chanting for a dope that doesn't even work here. She goes on to say how she's the best champion in pro wrestling for the females of all time, and it's not just her saying that, it's others too, like Sports Illustrated. I love how she keeps saying that line, man, because there's so much conviction in it. She is so proud of that she is willing to keep saying that as if it's the first time. A little bit of comedy with the amplification. The pro wrestling community, a lot of it likes to shit on Becky Lynch. Like everything she's doing is just so bad. There's just one problem with that. These shows are usually, unfortunately, from top to bottom, pretty damn bad. But the past couple 2-3 months, I'm noticing something. Becky Lynch is one of the brighter spots. Whether she's rocking a mic with a Nikki Bella or rocking it with CM Punk, there's one common denominator. Becky Lynch is the only part of the show worth discussing. Seth Rollins would eventually come out. Says, if you got something to say to me, I'm right here. Come up to the rampway. Punk knows that's obviously a trap. Breaker's back there. Bronson's back there. They're about to come out for the main event match. But Punk's like, at this rate, all three of you, deal. He goes to walk out of that ring. Becky Lynch blocks him. Goes to take a step sideways. Becky Lynch blocks him. Goes to deke her out. Seth Rollins walks away. Punk goes to turn around. Becky starts smacking the taste out of this dude's mouth, the yellow off his teeth. Smack after smack. Pushing him. Puts her head in his chest. Smacks him some more. Degrades him. Calls him a loser. Says he's nothing. Says get out of here. Says, ew, I didn't even want to touch you in your smelly sweat. You're disgusting. I got your stupid sweat on my hand. Ew, starts wiping her hands. Get out of here. France, don't you have a song or something? A stupid song? Na 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 na, hey hey, goodbye? Get out of here. Keep walking. When you get to the curtain, keep going and don't ever come back. Degrading this dude. Like they're in the schoolyard. Becky Lynch, vicious, smacking the shit out of this dude. And then degrading him on the mic. And Punk took it. Punk took the smacks. Punk took the verbal assault. Punk walked off. And Becky Lynch kept yapping. CM Punk goes backstage. He comes across Adam Pearce. Pearce informs him Rollins is gone. I promise you, I saw it. Punk says, where's SmackDown? Pearce says, Chicago, home sweet home. A smile comes to Punk's face as he pats Pearce on the back and says, great. That's great. Pearce says, what does that mean? Punk's already walked off at that point. What it means, AJ Lee returns Friday in Chicago on SmackDown. What it means is it's not going to be a Mania match. They're not going to drag this out for many, many months. It's not going to be at a War Games and Survivor Series. It is going to be WrestlePalooza. They're really going to try to stack this card up. Mixed tag, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk, AJ Lee. That's the only thing this could mean. Because before Punk left the ring, he told Becky Lynch, Rollins is going to regret all of this when I take his title, and you're going to regret putting your hands on me. And when Pearce said, SmackDown's in Chicago, home sweet home, that's AJ Lee's home. It's pretty obvious now, man. You see what happened at Clash. You see what happened here with Becky Lynch going all out on CM Punk. AJ Lee is coming. This is huge, man. This is massive. This is over 10 years in the making. A lot of people wanted to see AJ Lee have at least one more match. I told you guys from the beginning she was coming back. No matter what, you will see AJ Lee back in WWE. It's the only thing this could lead to. You're not gonna... There's nothing else. You're not bringing up Sol Ruca, a Jada Parker, a Lola Vice, Jordan Grace to tag up with CM Punk. There's no meaning behind any of it. Even if you wanted to try to turn Roxanne Perez face instantly. Because behind the scenes, they call Roxy their daughter, AJ Lee and CM Punk's daughter, because they're close. No. Roxanne Perez is not tagging with CM. It makes no sense. It's AJ Lee or bust. This is massive. I'll leave it at that. We'll be talking about that more than likely over the next several days as we lead into SmackDown in Chicago. But that is massive. And this segment stole the show, no question. Becky Lynch has been putting in some of the best work of her career. That is not opinion. That is not a hot take. That's just facts. Fans may not like it, but they're still facts. Becky Lynch is doing phenomenal work lately. And CM Punk is always putting in phenomenal work. Those two together crush this segment. Rollins played his part as little as it was, and now it's time for AJ Lee to really put this into another whole gear and level. This was wild. So good. Then we went into the main event. Braun Bronze versus LA Knight and Yeeterman. This is your run-of-the-mill tag match with Breakker pinning Yeeterman. I'm all for this. Braun Breakker is a legit singles competitor, a legit future world champion, more than likely many times over. Jason Yeeterman, like it or not, I know you like to dance and yeet and scream yeet like it's 2012, but he's a tag team guy. He's a mid-carder at best. You can't possibly have Jay Yeeterman pinning Braun Breakker left and right. Can't happen. So even in matches like this, and at Clash in Paris, and now Monday Night Raw, twice, they semi-protected LA Knight. What a concept! LA Knight didn't take the pin. Sunday at Clash in Paris, and LA Knight didn't take the pin here. What a concept. LA Knight being protected, even if it's just a little bit. I know I'm not getting too carried away. For all we know, next week he could be losing every single show going forward. But Yeeterman takes this pin. Post-match, they beat on LA Knight and Yeeterman. Jim Uso. Jimmy Uso. His music hits. France acts like it's Roman Reigns. I don't think France cares. Tozawa's music could have played, and they would have been flipping out pretty deadly. The Brooklyn Brawler. James Ellsworth. Disco Inferno. It wouldn't matter. They would be balling out, man. Jim Uso comes down. They're yelling Jimmy Uso. They're chanting Jimmy Uso. He's asking his brother, "You all right, Us?" Breakker and Bronson Reed run out of the ring because of Jim Uso in a steel chair in his hand. Michael Cole's hilarious. He's like, "The cavalry has come. The cavalry has arrived." I'm like, Michael Cole, it's Jim Uso, man. It's mid-Jim, medium-sized Jim Uso in a steel chair. Where's the cavalry? But the best part is when Michael Cole goes, "Jimmy Uso has seen enough." You mean when the match was over, he didn't feel like coming out? He's like, "Damn, man, my brother's getting his ass whooped, but I still got 3 bites of triple air moose cake. I gotta finish my triple air moose cake." Jay can wait. He's taken a beating before. Michael Cole, this guy, Jimmy Uso is in Paris, France for some reason. I don't think he was on the card, right? Clash in Paris. He's definitely not on Monday Night Raw, but he was on the tour, maybe SmackDown. Okay. So he stuck around. But he's there. He's watching his brother get annihilated. The match is clearly over. And Michael Cole says, "Now Jimmy Uso has seen enough." It was just funny. It reminds me, I brought this up last week in an upload. Forgot what we were talking about. But it reminds me of when Matt Hardy was getting his ass whooped. And I think you guys told me when we brought that up, I think you guys told me this was actually in TNA. I thought this was in WWE. But I guess it was TNA maybe. Matt Hardy's getting his ass whooped. Jeff Hardy's music finally plays. Jeff Hardy decides to come out and help his brother. But he comes out while Matt Hardy's getting beat up, and he's been getting beat up for a while. Jeff comes out and just starts dancing to his music. He goes left, he goes right, he's playing to the crowd. Meanwhile, his brother's getting his ass whooped. Jeff forgot that he's out there to make a save. It's not an entrance to a match. So when he finally realizes, he remembers, and you see his look in his face, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he starts running to the ring to help out Matt. Hilarious. And that ends the show with Jimmy cradling Jay in his arms. "Is that you, Oos? I'm all right, Oos. You sure you all right, Oos?" And we fade out, and we end the show. So the biggest things I'll take away from this show, top notch, the very top, the biggest headlining thing here is obviously Becky Lynch and CM Punk. They rocked out, both of them. Played it so well. And I like how they set it all up. Punk is waiting in the parking lot, so it's building up that suspense. And they decided that the payoff was not going to be in the parking lot. We'll take it to the ring. Hey, I'm kind of glad they did. If knowing that Becky was coming out and they were going to set up a segment like that. And I love how they didn't have Rollins too involved. This is between Punk and Becky. Becky degrades Punk. Becky does shit that Punk can't retaliate to. It's got to be a female. It's got to be somebody that he's the closest with. What about his girl? And they happen to be in Chicago on SmackDown. That's the biggest thing, guys. That was huge. Other than that, you had a lot of wrestling matches with wrestlers and many opportunities for France to lose their shit and sing all their songs and chant. I like crowds like this for the loudness and the amplification and the energy. I think most of us would say that. I think we've taken it too far over the years, and it's just, most promos, they don't even care what the wrestlers are saying. They don't even care about the match, really. They're just interested in just screaming anything in songs and chants. And again, the energy is cool, but I said this in yesterday's upload, the review for Clash in Paris. I love a loud crowd. I love energy, but I also love when people just shut the fuck up for a couple of minutes. Let me hear what the wrestlers are saying so I can, come along for the ride on the story. Let me try to get invested in the match and not be preoccupied with everybody chanting and singing and dancing and the crowd just hijacking the show and the crowd needing to be the show, not a part of the show. Let the performers do what they do. So I wish there was like a medium ground we could find, have the energy, but maybe know when to put it in. Because the entire show, it's almost like the wrestlers and the wrestling is secondary. And maybe it's because over the years, the wrestling show itself has not been up to par where it needs to be. And the prices have gone up, so they're taking more money from the audiences, but they're not giving them anything in return. So maybe they feel like they have to be the show. They got to get their money's worth. If WWE's not going to give them a good time, they'll throw their own party. So I guess we just answered our own little dilemma. That was Monday Night Raw. Man, all eyes will now be on the blue brand. It'll be interesting to see what number they pull this week because, damn, for the first time in a long time, BC is interested in this. I've been waiting for this for about a decade to see AJ Lee step foot back into a pro wrestling ring. BC will have you covered every step of the way until next time, and there will be that next time. 44 Dive, that's a wrap. BC saying check you, unit. Salute.